Have you ever waited for something for a really long time? Like maybe the line at the DMV? Well, we're probably not doing that a lot these days, but we are waiting for the pandemic to end, aren't we? Waiting for a cure, waiting for this long, drawn out political season to end. Or maybe more personally, you have been waiting for God to answer your prayers. Maybe there's an area in your life that you have been asking God. You've been asking Him perhaps for reconciliation and breakthrough in your marriage. Or you've been asking for a child or asking for breakthrough in your career. And perhaps it's been a long time since you've seen God do anything in your prayers. What do you do in that place? If you can relate to that feeling, you will be able to relate to this guy named Zechariah, who's the first person we're going to look at in this Making Room Advent devotional series. Zechariah here, his name literally means Jehovah remembers. But I think he may feel like God forgot him. You see, Zechariah was an old man, and he had been waiting for a son and praying for a son all his life, but now he's old, and God hasn't answered his prayers. And in a similar way, the people of Israel had also been waiting. They had been waiting 600 years for a Messiah. And there had no prophets or any word from the Lord in these 600 years. Talk about wanting to give up after a long period of time. And here we see in this text, Zechariah literally stands in for the people of Israel who have been waiting. He's waiting, they're waiting, and he goes into the temple drawn by Lot to offer the prayers of God's people in the Holy of Holies. And here the angel shows up unexpected and unannounced and says, Zechariah, good news! You're going to have a son, and Israel is going to have a Messiah. But what we find is that in Zechariah there was no room for the good news. He has squeezed it all out through his cynicism and through his doubt. And what's revealed in that is this question, how can I be sure of this? But can we really blame him for his doubt? After so many years of waiting and being disappointed, it is so hard to keep going and trust that God could actually want to answer our prayers, that He is trustworthy and good. And so the angel says to him, you know what, Zechariah? You're going to be silent until you see this promise come to pass. And rather than seeing this as a punishment, I want us to see this as an opportunity for Zechariah to position his heart so that he can make room for this promise. Because when bitterness and anger seethe within our hearts when we've been disappointed, it tends to squeeze out any room for God to show Himself to us. And what if in this time we positioned our hearts like Zechariah with silence before the Lord? What if we chose to silence our bitter rants online and off and chose instead silence, maybe a social media fast or an opportunity to just sit alone with no noise and come before God and wait for Him? That's this invitation really for the whole Advent season, is to position our hearts to make room by waiting for God. And one of the ways that you can do that is through the spiritual practice of silence. So I encourage you to do that. Set some time aside just to sit in silence with the Lord. Maybe fast social media if you can. And I cannot wait to see what God is going to do. And I can't wait to join you next time.